What if Eevee and its evolution had a paradox form? For many years fans have been speculating what new eeveelutions could look like. However, we haven't seen any new ones since 2013 with Sylvan. Every new generation we all think that this is the one, we are finally getting a new eeveelution. But it never seems to be the case. As a Fakemon artist, it almost feels like an obligation to design an evolution for each one of its missing types. However, I have seen so many artists do that already that I thought I'll leave that for another time in the future, and do something a little different for now. So for this video we will design a paradox for Eevee and each one of its evolutions, adding one of the missing types to each one. For now I decided to make a future and past version of Eevee, and then split the 8 evolutions into 2, designing 4 of them as past versions and the other 4 as future versions. In today's video we will only cover the past versions and we'll see the future versions in part 2. With that said, let's not waste any more time and get to it. So up until now we have had 9 out of 18 of the types used on Eevee and its evolutions, leaving us with 9 more types: Bug, Poison, Dragon, Rock, Fighting, Steel, Ghost, Ground, and Flying. For Eevee I decided to use Bug type, as I thought it would fit best for a past version that can still evolve through metamorphosis and justifying such an extreme change with its evolutions, and with the future one some kind of bugged coding that makes it transform into the other evolutions. But enough with the spoilers, you'll have to wait for the next video to see the future one. Meet Dusty Ruff. Its type is normal and bug. It looks very familiar to the Pokemon Eevee. This particular Paradox Pokemon seems to have the capability to evolve, something completely unique within Paradox Pokemon. With past Eevee out of the way, we need to design 4 evolutions for it. As I said before, I wanted to add one of the missing types on them, so out of the 8 remaining types left, I decided to go with Poison, Rock, Fighting, and Dragon, as I felt those were the ones that fit a prehistoric theme the best. The first one I designed was Flareon, which I had a volcano theme in mind. Apparently the sulfur in volcanoes can make the lava that comes out and its flames change into a blue color due to some chemical reactions. I thought that could make for an interesting design, so I went with that and added the Poison type due to sulfur's toxic nature. Meet Sulfuric Manea. Its type would be Fire and Poison. It looks very familiar to the Pokemon Flareon. Toxic fumes come out of its manea which can be deadly to anyone who breathes them. Dusty Ruff had to adapt to constant eruptions of volcanoes 50 million years ago, forcing it to evolve into Sulfuric Manea. Afterwards I decided to go with Umbreon. Umbreon has a moon theme, it even evolves at night, and many believe it should evolve through a moon stone to make it consistent with the original eeveelution methods. So my idea for this Pokemon was to give it a theme related to the meteor that killed most life on Earth 66 million years ago. Meet Dark Cataclysm. Its type would be Dark and Rock. It looks very familiar to the Pokemon Umbreon. Dusty Ruff evolves into Dark Cataclysm when being exposed to the meteorite that killed 70% of all species of Pokemon on Earth 66 million years ago. This Pokemon has the power to manipulate gravity, however it can be quite unstable and dangerous. Next in line is Glaceon, the Ice-type eeveelution. Something that stands out to me about Glaceon is its elegance. Because of this I wanted to give it a nice contrast with its paradox form and make it something completely different. So I added the Fighting type to it and made it look rougher by giving it some fangs like a saber-toothed tiger, some scar-shaped patterns and some fluff around its body so that it doesn't look as silky and well kept. Meet Thawing Spear. Its type would be Ice and Fighting. It looks very familiar to the Pokemon Glaceon. In the past, Dusty Ruff had to adapt due to the coming of the Ice Age, making it evolve into Thawing Spear, who due to the lack of resources had to fight its way to the top of the food chain using the spear-like ears it has. And finally but not least we have Vaporeon, and the only typing left was the Dragon type, so I thought I could get some inspiration from aquatic dinosaurs such as the Spinosaurus. At first I was going to give it a big crest around its back, which would substitute the frill around its neck, but I couldn't seem to make it work. So in the end I only added a small crest on its neck and made the frills come out of its face instead of its neck. However, its tail did end up looking just like the one from a Spinosaurus, so not everything was lost from my first idea. And to finish it off, I also gave it a big jaw with a big smile that gives it a dangerous look yet still goofy and friendly. Meet Frilled Jaws. Its type would be Water and Dragon. It looks very familiar to the Pokemon Vaporeon. This Pokemon is incredibly fast both in land and in water, and with its powerful jaw it can crush almost anything, becoming a top predator of its time. Dusty Ruff had to adapt to the great floods that happened over 200 million years ago, making it evolve into frilled jaws. And that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more then please subscribe. I'll be back soon with part 2 to show off the future version of Eevee and the rest of its evolutions. Have a nice day, and maybe leave a comment letting me know which one you liked more and what other kind of videos would you like me to make.
Out of the way, you!